Everyone thinks their struggles are unique, that their weaknesses are some kind of private shame. But let me tell you a secret. The thing you're embarrassed about, the thing you think makes you broken or weird, it's probably one of the most common kinks of the human mind. And no, I'm not talking about leather and whips. I'm talking about the hidden desires and attachments that rule us when we're not careful. The Stoics saw them long before psychology gave them fancy names. They called them passions, chains, illusions. And today, we're going to break down the 10 most popular mental and emotional kinks people fall into, and how Stoicism can help us escape them. So, whether you're completely new to Stoicism or you've been quoting Marcus Aurelius in your sleep, you'll find something on this list that you secretly wrestle with. And if you don't, then maybe I need to make a part 2, the 10 most underrated Stoic kinks. Quick disclaimer before we start. Just because these are common doesn't mean you need to indulge them. And just because Stoicism says we should resist them doesn't mean you're weak for having them. Remember, the Stoics didn't preach judgment. They preached awareness. And with awareness comes freedom. So let's jump in. We're going to count down from number 10 all the way to number 1. And with each kink, we'll look at what it is, why it's so popular, examples from daily life, and of course, how the Stoics told us to deal with it. Number 10, the kink of complaining. You may think, wait, complaining is a kink? But yes, it absolutely is. Think about it. Why do people complain so much? Because it feels good. It gives you a little surge of release, a moment of self-importance. It's the psychological equivalent of scratching an itch. Why is it popular? Because life is full of discomfort, and instead of enduring it like the Stoics taught, we vent, we whine, we seek pity. Epictetus would roll his eyes at this one. He said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Yet, what do most people do? They explain their suffering to anyone who will listen. They turn pain into performance. Examples: complaining about traffic, complaining about your boss, complaining about your partner. It feels like a release, but what it really does is enslave you to your irritation. I used to think complaining was harmless. I get stuck in traffic and narrate the tragedy of my life like I was some Shakespearean hero. But the first time I tried actually keeping silent, breathing, and just observing instead of reacting, something changed. I realized that complaining wasn't about the world. It was about me refusing to practice patience. So if you want to break this kink, start small. Catch yourself mid-complaint and ask, is this within my control? If it's not, drop it. That's Stoicism in action. Number 9, the kink of being seen. This one is huge. The desire to be noticed, validated, admired. You could call it the kink of exhibitionism, but not in the physical sense. It's the emotional exhibitionism of needing everyone to approve of you. Why is it popular? Because the human ego is addicted to recognition. Social media thrives on it. We post, we wait, we check, like moths circling the light of approval. Marcus Aurelius warned against this. He said, it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. That's exactly what this kink is. Examples: needing likes on your Instagram post, fishing for compliments, oversharing just to be noticed. I used to think being seen equaled being valued, but then I realized the more I chased eyes, the less I saw myself clearly. Stoicism taught me that real strength is being unseen and still standing tall. So ask yourself, do you crave the spotlight, or can you be content in the shadows, knowing your worth doesn't depend on applause? Number 8, the kink of drama. Oh, this one is juicy. Some people are addicted to chaos. They need the conflict, the gossip, the emotional roller coaster. They'll even create problems where none exist just to feel alive. Why is it popular? Because drama feels intense, and intensity tricks the brain into thinking it's meaningful. But as Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Examples: picking fights in relationships, stirring up office gossip, turning small issues into massive betrayals. I used to confuse drama with passion. I thought the more explosive a relationship was, the more real it must be. But the Stoics showed me that true depth is calm, not chaos. A storm isn't proof of love. It's proof of instability. If you find yourself addicted to drama, try replacing it with discipline. Breathe before reacting. Choose silence over escalation. That's not boring, that's mastery. Number 7, the kink of control. Here's a classic. People want to control everything. Their partner, their future, even the weather. And when reality refuses to obey, they spiral. Why is it popular? Because control gives the illusion of safety. But the Stoics hammered this lesson into us. You control your actions, not the outcome. Examples: micromanaging at work, obsessing over how people see you, freaking out when plans change. I used to white-knuckle life like I could bend it to my will. But the more I gripped, the more it slipped. Freedom came only when I realized my sphere of control ends at my own choices. That's it. Everything else is borrowed time. So if you're caught in this kink, release the need to dominate. Let life be unpredictable. That's where peace lives. 6, voyeurism. Watching life instead of living it. Some people get their thrill from watching others. But in life, too many of us fall into the same trap. We watch other people live their dreams on social media. We observe from the sidelines. We consume instead of create. The Stoics would call this slavery to comparison. Seneca warned against wasting your life looking at others, measuring yourself by their standards. Voyeurism in relationships may be fun, but in life, it's dangerous. A Stoic doesn't just watch. He participates. He lives. He plays the game instead of sitting in the stands. Point 5. Role play. Wearing masks, losing yourself. Role play is one of the most common kinks. Pretending. Putting on a character. Stepping into another identity. But here's the catch. Many people do this every single day outside the bedroom. They wear masks at work, with friends, even with family. They fake smiles, fake confidence, fake values. Marcus Aurelius had zero patience for that. He said, be simple, be the same person you are in the dark as in the light. Role play might be fun in fantasy, but in life, the more masks you wear, the more you forget who you are. The Stoic lesson? Drop the costumes. Be real. For impact play, the pain that tests you. Some people crave the sting, the smack, the jolt. Why? Because pain, in the right context, makes them feel alive. Life does the same thing. It hits you hard. Financial setbacks, heartbreak, failure, betrayal. And most people run from it. But Epictetus said, do not wish for life to be easy. Wish instead to be strong enough to endure it. Impact play in kink is about transforming pain into power. The Stoic version? When life hits you, don't crumble. Absorb it. Grow stronger because of it. 3, control and power play. Who really hold the chains? Dominance. Submission. The eternal dance of control. Some want to be in charge. Others want to surrender. But here's the Stoic question. Who really controls your life? If your emotions dictate your actions, if people's opinions steer your choices, if desire drags you around by the neck, then you're not in control. You're a slave. Epictetus reminded us, freedom is not about chains or titles, but about mastery of the self. So whether in bed or in life, control is the ultimate illusion, unless you learn to govern yourself first. 2, exhibitionism, needing to be seen. Exhibitionists get off on being watched, on being exposed. But isn't that exactly what social media has turned us all into? Every like, every view, every comment. It's the same craving for validation. The Stoics saw this as dangerous vanity. Marcus Aurelius said, the applause of men is a poor thing. It dies quickly. Exhibitionism in fantasy can be thrilling, but in life it's a trap. If you need to be seen to feel valuable, you'll never stop performing. A Stoic doesn't beg for attention. He commands respect in silence. Point 1. Bondage, the chains we choose. Bondage is one of the oldest, most popular kinks. But here's the deeper truth. Most of us are tied up every single day by things we chose. We're bound by money, by desire, by toxic relationships, by our own overthinking. The Stoics taught that true freedom isn't about breaking external chains. It's about breaking internal ones. Seneca said, a man is enslaved to whatever he cannot live without. Bondage and fantasy can be playful, but in life, the worst chains are invisible, and the greatest freedom is to walk unbound. And so, there you have it, the 10 most popular kinks of the human mind, from complaining and validation seeking to drama, control, and ultimately the addiction to pleasure. Did any surprise you? Did you see yourself in one, or maybe all 10? That's the thing. You're not strained for struggling. You're human. The difference is whether you let these kinks control you, or whether you master them through stoic discipline. As Epictetus reminded us, no man is free who is not master of himself. If you found value in this, don't just click away. Carry it with you. Hit subscribe, and let's keep sharpening the mind as much as we explore the heart. Until next time, remember, freedom isn't in indulging your kinks. It's in mastering them.